Hello friends, how are you? In this video we'll discuss about list data structure in Python. Okay, so what is list? So in list, insertion order of the data is preserved. Okay, duplicate data and heterogeneous data are allowed. List size can be changed. Support both positive and negative indexes, and it is a mutable. Suppose one data set is there. Suppose here list 1, here 2, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so here insertion order of the data is preserved, means we have inserted 2 first, then 4, then 5, then 6. Okay, so this is the index of, this is the first index, second index, third index, and fourth index. So indexing should be like that: 0, 1, 2, 3, and negative index is also there. So if it is from left to right, it should be 0, 1, 2, 3. But if it is right to left, it should be -1, -2, -3, and -4. Okay. So duplicate data and heterogeneous data are allowed. Suppose we want to, once again we want to store 4, it is okay. But it is not okay in set. Suppose here we want to store A. So easily we can store, no problem. So it can store heterogeneous data as well as duplicate data. Now list size can be changed. That means what? We can delete the content of the list, or we can increase the content of the list. Okay, and it is mutable. Definitely, if it is mutable, that means what? We can update that particular content of the list. We can add, we can insert data, we can update data, we can remove data. Are you getting my point? Now, basically, in data structure, already we know the linked list. Suppose if it is a doubly linked list, so the connections will be what? It is like that. Okay, the connections are like this way. And in doubly linked, say 2, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so the connection is like that. So I am drawing it roughly. Suppose in doubly linked list, we can insert the as a first data, we can insert in any index, we can insert in any position, we can insert as a last position. Okay, we can traverse from left to right, we can print from left to right, we can traverse from right to left. Okay, and we can delete any element, we can remove any element, or we can delete the entire list. So we can implement the linked list data structure using list in Python. Okay, and we can do more. We can do more. So how to define list? So in this particular list, we can define like this way: my list is equal to this square bracket. So my list is nothing but the name of the list. Okay, and we can display that particular list, and we can display the type of the list. So definitely nothing is there inside the list. That's why it is empty. Okay, and the type is what? And here the type is the list type. Are you getting my point? So this is what our list output, which is empty, nothing is there, and the type is, it is a list type. So basically everything in Python, everything is object. Okay, so my object is nothing but it is an object of the class list. Okay, now more list creations. So here we can create list like this way: my list is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. So name of the list is what? My list, and we can print that particular list. So if you print that particular list, the output will be what? This way: 1, 2, 3, 4. And similarly we can write like this way: 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. So actually duplicate values are there. So list accommodates duplicate values. This is the what output. Now similarly we can accommodate the string data also. Suppose Amar, Akbar, Anthony. Okay, so we can print that particular list. So if you print this particular, the output is what? Amar, Akbar, Anthony. This is another list. Now we can see this particular list here: Ganga, Jamuna, Kaveri. Okay, next integer value, floating point values are there, and one string is there, a big string is there, and if you print it, we can get the values. Now we can see here the position is preserved. Say Ganga is the first element, that's why it is the first. I have a dream, it is the last data, that's why it is in the last position. Moreover, we can store the data like true and false. Okay, and if you print it, we can get the answer true, false, false, true. Okay, so these are few examples how to create the list or how to enter data, and the data may be the heterogeneous data. Okay, and in list the sequence of the data is preserved. Okay, now we can enter the data inside a list by keyboard. So my list, name of the list is equal to eval. So if you write eval and if you input data, we can create a list, and if you write the type of the list, it should be the classed list. Okay, so we can execute it, we can get the output. Suppose we want the list, say list is 8, 9, 55. Okay, if you enter it, we can get the answer. The list is this one. Okay, so this is what our input, and the output is what? This is what our output, and the type is a list. So to enter a evaluation, to enter a list data, we have to write like this way. Are you getting my point? Now we can see another example. Suppose there's one string. Friendship is a wine of life. Okay. Now my string here, if you write like this way, my string dot split. So if this dot split, it split the string into words and store it into the my list variable in a list format. Okay, so we can see if you display the content of the my list, we can get friendship is the wine of life. So this is nothing but a list of words. Okay, so in this way you can convert list into words. It's a very useful technique. Now list comprehension. Now definitely already you know using comprehension we can create something in a compact way. Okay, so suppose we want to create a list, we have to mention, we have to specify like this way. If you want to create set, we have to specify this way. If you want to create a tuple, you have to specify this way. Okay, so here three sections are there. First section is the expression. Next, after for the item in iterable, and then the condition. Then the condition. So these two part it is mandatory, but condition part is optional. We can may give or we may not give. Okay, so expression, then iteration, then condition. So three parts are there. So we will see one by one. So here my list is equal to x. X is nothing but the expression for x in range. This is what nothing but the item for item in iterable. So here the value of x, the value of x is what? It should be like from starting from 3, then 2, then 1, 0, 1, 2 and 3. So the output will be what? The content that particular list must be stored in a my list, then the name of the list, and if you display that particular my list, we can get this out -3 to 3. So it's a simple example of the list comprehension. This is what our expression. Then it is what? For item in iterable. So this item is iterable in range -3 to 4. Okay. Now we can see another example. Suppose we can see example. Suppose we have a another list. Suppose here x square. This is what our x square. This is what expression for x in range. So the x should be what? It should be from -2, -1, 0, 1 and 2. Okay. So the content of this my list will be what? So content of the my list would be what? -2 square, that is 4, -1 square, that is 1, 0 square, that is 0, 1 square, that is 1, and 2 square, that is 4. So this is the output. Okay, now we can pass this list into the another list. Okay, so the content of my list is what? This one. So this is what our expression, and this is the iteration, and here we put the condition. This is what condition. The value of x should be what? It should be the even number. So x modulo 2 is equal to 2. It's a logic for even number. So if it is even number, then store it into the my list 1, and we can display this my list 1. So here 4 it's even number, yes. 1 is even number, no. 0 is even number, yes. 1 is even number, no. 4 is even number, yes. Okay, so this is another way of writing the expression. So we can use, to define a list, we can use another list. Next, we can see here in a list, suppose one name of the list is colors. Here the colors are 7 colors are there: violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. Okay, suppose my list is equal to color 0. This is what our expression, we need color 0 for color in colors. So color in color, we select the data, we select the element one by one. So first time it is violet. If it is violet, okay, so if it is violet, so what will be the color 0? So the index 0 means what? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we need this V. So that's why first value is V. Second data is what? Indigo. So the color, the indigo is what? INDIGO, indigo. Okay, so it is index is what? It is 0. So this is what I. So color, so the variable COL should be the elements of the colors one by one, and we need only the first character from each and every element. And definitely the output is what? Vibgyor, VIBGYOR, that is the output. Okay, so suppose we need the second character. So here we have to put 1 here. So if you put second character, output will be what? INL. That means what? I, N, are you getting? L, and so on. Suppose we need the last character. So how to write like this way? So we have to write like this way: T, O, E. Are you getting my point? So this is what, in this way also you can use the list comprehension. Next, in another example, suppose we have a 2 list, list 1 and list 2. So in list 1 we have a data blue, green, and yellow. In list 2 we need green, yellow. We have green, yellow, and orange. So you just see the list 3. In list 3, what we did here, we can see the X. So this is what X, our expression. What we need, the iteration is what? X in list 1. The value must be in this list 1, but that value must also be present in the list 2. So blue, it is there? No, we should not take blue. Green, it is there? Yes. Yellow, it is there? Yes. So we have to, in list 3, we have to store green and yellow. And if you print the list 3, the output is what? Green and yellow. So this is nothing but our intersection. Now, if you write like this way, list 1 is equal to blue, green, yellow, and list 2 is equal to green, yellow, orange. So if you write like this way, list 3 is equal to X expression. Iteration is what? Data must be from list 1, but it should not be present in list 2. So blue, it is there? No. So we have to select it. Green, it is there? Yeah, should not select green. Yellow, it is there? Yes, we should not select green. So this is nothing but what? This is nothing but our list 1 minus list 2. So this is the difference between 2 lists, and if you print the list 3, we can get the output blue. That is only this particular data. Okay. Next, we can see another example. It's a very interesting one. Suppose we have a sentence, I have a dream, and already you know, we have seen that dot split. Through dot split, we split the string into the words. In my words, we store the list of words. So the list of word is what? I have a dream. Okay. Now we need to create one list where inside that particular, the expression is what? We need 2 data. We need the word in a lower term and the length of the word. So in a lower case, so we have to iterate the word. We have to iterate the word one by one. Okay. So first time it is word. Convert this into lowercase, and we need to store the length of the I. So lowercase of I is what? Small I. And length of I is what? It is 1. Next word is what? Next W is what? Have. Converted into lower. Okay. And the length of this word is what? It is a 4. Second time it is a. So it is a lower, convert into lowercase, and the length of the word is what? It is 1. finally dream is there. So you can see here now the tree is what it is in lowercase, and the total characters, how many characters are there? So the length of the word is nothing but it is a 5. So this is, we can say, it's a nested lists are there inside the list. Okay, so you can see these are the very useful techniques are there through which you can use in many applications, in many engineering applications. Achha. Suppose we need to now another example. Suppose we have a colors. So it is not a color; it should be the place. So it will be better if you put the name plain place. Okay. So and here it should be the place. It should not be the color. So suppose 4 places are there: Daringbari, Darjeeling, Kannur, and Simla. We need the expression. We need from the place one by one, but the place should not be the Simla. So this is what iteration, and this is what our condition. So we have to pick up the element one by one. Daringbari, it is a Simla, no. Darjeeling, no. Kannur, no. Simla, yes. It matches, it should not be taken. Okay, condition should not be taken. So the final list is what? The final list is what? Daringbari, Darjeeling, and Kannur. We can see one final example. We have a list, my list. Here the content is -3 to 3, and here we need the absolute value of a value x, and the value we must take from the my list, from this particular list, and the condition is what? The value of x should be less than 0. So first time it is -3, so convert it into the absolute value, then -2, convert it into the absolute value, -1, convert it into the absolute value. And since after that the value is what? X, if x is less than equal to 0, x less than 0, now the conditions are false. So definitely we should ignore these numbers. Okay, so we should consider only those numbers which are negative numbers and convert these numbers into absolute value, and then you can store it into the another list, that is the new list. And if you print that new list, we can get the output. Next, how to access the list? Definitely indexings are there. So we have a list. That name of the list is my list. Here a few elements are there: Mahabalipuram, Surat, Kovalam, Gokarna, and Kalanguet. So we can put some index values. So 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Now here my list 0. 0 means for Mahabalipuram. So if you print it, we can get the output Mahabalipuram. We need the -2. So definitely already you know. So it is -1, -2, -3, -4, and -5. -2 means what? Gokarna. So definitely the output is what? Gokarna for the second output. And my list 2. 2 means what? Which one? This one. So here the output is Kovalam. Output is Kovalam. Okay, so in this way we can access the data. We can access the data of a list. Okay, using the index values, using in the index numbers. Achha. Can you put a index value which is not there? Suppose here we want to put the fourth one. Here the index is say 8. I think index 8 is not there. So you can see here. If you see the index value, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So maximum value is what? 4. If you put 8, so what will be the output? So we can see the output. So if you execute it, we can get the output. The list index is out of range. So we can get here, what we can get? Here we can get the list index out of range. So definitely we cannot put the index value which is not in the range. So here maximum, so here we should put the range in between 0 to 4. It should not be it should not be more than 4. We cannot write 5, 6, 7, whatever may be. Okay. Next we have a list splitting. We can split it. So better to execute first this particular part. Okay. Then we can display the other. Suppose we have so here in my list the elements are Kanyakumari, Umananda, Gangasagar, Kalighat, Varanasi and Vrindavan. So the first output is my list 1 to 4. So 1 to 4, that means what? We need the index from 1 to I2. So we need I1, I1 plus 1, I1 plus 2, 2, I2 minus 1. Okay, so here it should be what? 1, 2, 4 minus 1, that is 3. So that means we need 1, 2, 3. It should print the content, the index 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 means what? Umananda to Kalighat. So you can see here 1 to 4. So 1 to 4 means what? We can execute it and then you can see the output. We can execute it. So if you execute it, we can get the output. So the output is what? It is Umananda to Kalighat. You can see the output. It is Umananda to Kalighat. Can you write 3 to 1? So in descending order, you cannot write 3 to 1. So if you write this way, so we can get the what we have got. Let's say empty list. But if you want to display in a reverse order, suppose we want to display like this order, we have to write like this way: 3 colon 1 colon minus 1. So 3 to 1, that means what? 3, 2 and 1. So 3 to 1 means what? 3 to, that means what? We can say right like this, say y1 to I2. So the where it should be that, so I1, so I1 minus 1, I1 minus, so first of all it should be the I1 first of all. So if it is I1 to I2 to say k minus k, are you getting? So I2, so I1 is what? So first of all it will print I1, then I1 minus k, then I1 minus 2k. Are you getting my point? Then I1 plus 1. So 3 to 1, that means what? It should print 3, then 2, then 1. 1 means what? 1, I1 plus 1, that means till 2. So it will print first 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It will print first 3, then 2. So first 3 is what? Kalighat, then Gangasagar. First Kalighat, then Gangasagar. So we can print it in a reverse order. Are you getting my point? So if you write like this way, so 5 to 0. If you write like 5 to 0, 5 to 1. So 5 to 1, so output will be what? From 5, 4, 3, 2. It should not be 1. So Vrindavan to Gangasagar. So you can see the output. You can execute it and you can see the output. Vrindavan to Gangasagar. You can see here. First is what? Vrindavan, then Varanasi. So it is displaying in a reverse order. Then Kalighat, then Gangasagar. Okay, so we can use such type of indexing to display in reverse order. To display in reverse order. Okay, are you getting my point? Next. Definitely already you know my list 2 means what? We need to display the second index. So we can see here this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Index 2 is what? Gangasagar. That's why the output is Gangasagar. Okay. Now few more examples. Suppose now make it this one and this comment line. Fifth output is what? It is 1 to 4. We can see here. It is 1 to 4. 1 to 4 means what? So it is I1 to I2 and increment is what? K. So it should be like that. I1 plus K, I1 plus 2K till I2 minus 1. You just remember this one. So if it is 1 to 4, 1 to 4 and if increment is 2, that means the value of K is equal to what? It is 2. So this is what our I1, this is what our I2. So initially it should be I1 is what? 1. The 1 plus 2, you can see 1 plus 2 is what? 3. Then 3 plus 2, it is a 5. And maximum is what? 4. So 4 means what? I2 minus 1. That means what? 4 minus 1, 3. So it should be only 1 and 3. It should not be taken the 5, 1. So 1 and 3 means what? 1 and 3. So we can execute it. We can, if you execute it, we can get the output. So just execute it. So it is what 1 and 3. So 1 is what Umananda, you can see here, and the Kalighat. Is it okay? Then if you write like this way, 1 colon space colon 2, that means what? If you don't put anything here, if you don't put anything there, that means it should be what? It should be till n minus 1. So what is n? N is the total number of elements. So how many elements are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 elements are there. So starting from 1, so it should be first 1, then 2. So 2 plus 1, 3. Then 1 plus 2 into 2, 4. 4 plus 1, 5. Okay. And it should be what? Till n minus 1. So n is what? So here n is what? 6, 6 minus 1. It is 5. So till 5. So the output will be what? Umananda, Kalighat and Vrindavan. So you can see Umananda, Kalighat and Vrindavan. So this is what our output 6. You can check it. Output 6. Achha, what happened if you don't put anything? Okay, colon colon. So if you remove this one also, that means by default it should start. So the by default I1 should be 0. So it should not be start from 1. So if it is colon colon 2, that means it should start from 0. So initially it should be 0, then 2, then 4, then till n minus 1. So n is what? It is 6, 6 minus 1, it is 5. So after 4 it should be 6, so we should not set 6. So the output will be what? 0 to 4. So 0 to 4 means what? It is what? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So Kanyakumari, Gangasagar and Varanasi. You can see here Kanyakumari, Gangasagar and Varanasi. Achha. What if you write like 2 colon? 2 colon. Okay, 2 colon, nothing is there inside. That means what? We need to display 2, or we can write like this, say I colon, nothing is there inside this. That means it should be I plus 1, I plus 2 till n minus 1. So it should be starting from 2. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So starting from 2, so it will be from Gangasagar to Vrindavan. Gangasagar to Vrindavan. You can see here Gangasagar, Kalighat, Varanasi and Vrindavan. What happened if you write like this way? Colon, nothing is there, then colon I. So starting from 0, 1, 2 to I minus 1. Okay, so if you write 4, that means what? 0 colon 4. That means what? Starting from 0 to 4 minus 1, that is 3. So 0, 1, 2 and 3. So 0 to 3. Kanyakumari, Umananda, Gangasagar, Kalighat. Kanyakumari, Umananda, Gangasagar and Kalighat. Okay, so I will upload all the programs in a GitHub. You just download all the programs and you can check yourself. List update on a particular index. Suppose we have a list, say my index here, Mahakaleshwar, Nalanda, Bodh Gaya and Amarkantak. So the index is what? 0, 1, 2 and 3. So if you display it, we can get the output this one. Suppose we want to change the second. So instead of Bodh Gaya, we need the Omkareshwar. So how can you write? My list and the index. Index is what? It is 2. So if you put 2 here, now the content of the list is, if you display this particular list, you can see here. So now it is Omkareshwar. It is not the Bodh Gaya. So we can change according to our requirement. Suppose we want to here we can to write. So first index we want to change. So instead of Mahakaleshwar, it should be Omkareshwar. So if you execute it, you can see here. Instead of Mahakaleshwar, now it is Omkareshwar. So if you want to change Amarkantak, so here Amarkantak, so it should be what? Index should be what? 3. And if you execute it, we can get the output. Now it is, instead of Amarkantak, now it is Omkareshwar. Now what happened if you put the index 4? If you want to change, index 4 is not there, and if you want to execute it, so we can get the index out of range error. We will get index out of range. The question is, it is an exception, it's an error. So how to handle this one? So to handle this one, we can use better to change. So it is 2 and execute it. Now to handle this one, we can use try and except, or we can use if and else. So we can see the example, list update on a particular list index. So we have a list, my list, here contain Mahakaleshwar, Nalanda, Bodhgaya and Amarkantak. And we can print it. We can print the output is this one. Now suppose we want to enter the index, we want to change it. So here we have to check whether the index is less than the length of the my list is not there. So what is the length? So length is what? 1, 2, 3, 4. That means if the index value is less than 0, that means 0, 1, 2, 3. If the index value is less than 4, then change it, otherwise print index is out of range. So if you write like this way, gracefully you can handle such type of situation. So here we want to, if you put the value, so execute it. Now suppose we want to change the second index. So you have to put 2 here, and if you execute it, we can see here in the second index it was Budhvar, now it is Omkareswar. Okay. Now if you put here the index is say 0. Now we can see here Mahakaleshwar, now it is Omkareshwar. If you put index 9, now you can see index is out of range, because here we put the index value is what? It is 9 and the length is what? 4. Now the condition is false, means what? Execute the else part and it will print index is out of range. Okay. Now list with loop. List with loop. So here the list is my list. Here hot chocolate, badam milk and kanji is there. So we can iterate like this way for L1 in my list. So it will pick up the data one by one and it can print it. So it will print hot chocolate first, then badam milk, then kanji. So in this way you can iterate the list using for loop. Okay. So it's another way we can iterate using the index also. So my list here index is what? It is a 0, 1 and 2, and length of my list what? It is 3. Okay. So I in range. So range should be what? It should be 0, 1 and 2. So it will pick up the I value should be what? 0, 1, 2, and we can write like this way, my list I. So first term definitely it will print the Kashmiri tea, then noon chai, then masala chai. Okay. Next, nested list inside the list. You can see this particular list here. Few elements are there. So this is the first one, first data, second data, third data, but fourth data is also a list. So if you print that particular list, the output is this one. Now suppose we display like this way, my list index 2. That means we want to display 0, 1, 2. So it should be 2 and it should be 3. Sorry. So that means what? We want to print the data 6 for this particular line. Okay, are you getting my point? For this particular. Suppose you write my list 3. So 3 means what? It will print 357. You can see the output is what? The output is what? 356. Now suppose we want to access particular element of that particular, say fifth one. So here we have to write what? 3 comma. So that index should be what? It is index should be here its index should be what? It is 0, 1, 2. So here we have to mention the index 1 instead of 0. So if you index 1, now you can see now instead of 3 it should be what? It is a 5. Now you can see it's a 5. Are you getting my point? So here in this way we can access the list inside the list. Okay. So here also here we can put the 0. That means we want to access this particular data. It was 3, now it is 3. Okay. Now what happen if you put 6 here? So definitely it will give index out of range. List index is out of range. Definitely we cannot put like this way. So better to write some sensible index value. So it is a free. Okay. Now here in this list, these are the integer values, but this is what? List variable. So definitely a list can contain different data types. So definitely integer, and so that's why if since 2 list 2 is what? This is what? This one. So we cannot write like this way, because this one is the index. It is an integer. Sorry, it is not a list. So we cannot write like this way. You can check it. So you just download it and you can check it and tell me whether you can write like this way or not. Here we can write like this way or not. And in the comment section, tell your answer. So in that case, you have to mention that it is example 17. Okay. Next, update more than one element. Suppose we want to update more than one element, how to update it? So we have a list. So here contains 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you print it, we can get the output this one. And my list 3 to 5. 3 to 5 means what? 3 to 5. So 0, 1, 2, 3 to 5. That means what? 3 to 4. That means we need to change 7 and 9, and we have to replace with 8 and 10. So if you execute it, we can get the output 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So that means we have changed this particular portion of the data. Okay. Now, suppose we want to change, we can mention the index. So to explain it, so its index is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Suppose we want to change first three value 2, 4, 6. Okay, so in that case we have to mention like this way. So we have to mention like this way, and if you enable it, and if you write like this way, colon to 3. Colon to 3 means what? From first index to the 3 minus 1, the second index, that is 0, 1, 2. And if you execute it, we can get the answer. So we can get the answer is what? This is what our answer. Last two are same, keep as it is. You just change the first three. You just change the first three. Similarly, if you want to change the last element, so how to mention the last element? It is minus 1. So already you know. We just define the index of any list from right to left in this fashion: minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, and so on. So you want to change it. So here we mention my list minus 1 is equal to last, and if you execute it, we can get, say, the last value is this one. Okay, so in this way we can update more than one elements of a list. Next, insert a data into a particular index value. Suppose we want to insert a data in a particular list. Suppose here, suppose we have a data 1, 3, 5, and 9, indexing about 0, 1, 2, 3. Suppose in a second index means this one. Here we want to insert 7. So here we want to insert 7. So how it is possible? So 1 and 3 should be the 3, same as it is the above one. Now here the value should be the 7. Now 5 and 9 will be shifted the right. So after that it should be 5 and 9. So inside second index we want to store 7. So inside second index we want to store 7. Okay. So we can see the output. We can see the output, and if you execute it, we can get the output. Now you can see here, before that the input is what? The output is 1359. You can see 1359. After that it is 13759. 13759. Okay, just like in linked list, we can insert in between the list, in between the nodes. In this list also you can do this one. Suppose you want to insert as a first node. We want to insert as a first node. In that case also, how to do this one? Here you have to mention the index 0. If you mention 0, now we can insert a data as a first data. Suppose we want to insert a data as a last data. Here you have to mention -1, and here it is. You can see here -1 means what? As a last means what? See, it is 1359. So it is -1, -2, -3, -4. So if you write -1 and 7, so here it should be 1, 3, 5, and 7, and 9 should be this one. Okay. Now suppose we want to store as a last index, means here 1, 3, 5, 9. Here we want to store the last as a last 7 after 9. So in that case, how to do this one? So here we have to mention like this way. Suppose here we want to insert as a last. So instead of 10, assume it is a 7, same 7. And if you write like this way, length of my list. What is the length of my list? So length of my list is what? So it is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Length is what? 4. So here 4 comma 7. So that means insert as a last node. So if you execute it, we can see the output. So if you execute it, we can see the output. Output is what? So you can see now 7 is the last data. Achha. What happened if you mention 10 instead of -1 or whatever maybe? You can see the 10th index is not there. Definitely index starting from 0, 1, 2, 3. So 10th index is not there. If you write like this way, then what will happen? You just see, if you execute it, you can see here, if you mention the out of range, it will insert the 7 as a last node. Okay, so it will insert that particular data as a last node. So whatever if you mention, suppose here we mention 0, so insert as a first node. Okay, we have mentioned as insert as a first node. If you mention 88, it will insert as a last node. Are you getting? If you mention 8, even it will also the last node. So if you mention as a third, so it will insert as a third node. Okay, so it's a very interesting one. You can check it. Now we can see some list function one by one. So already we know length of the list. We can get how many elements are there, then how many particular element is there in the list, and we want to know the index of any particular data. So we have a list. So here in my list, here the content is what? My list Sridi, Bhima Shankar, then Kolhapur, Ganpati Pule and Kolhapur. So index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So what is the length of the list? What is the length of the list? It is 5 elements are there. So the length is what? It is a 5. My list dot count. How many Kolhapur are there? So 2 Kolhapurs are there. That's why the count is what? It is a 2. So what is the index of Ganpati Pule? What is the index of Ganpati Pule? It is 3. That's why index is 3. Are you getting? So similarly, we can write like this way. What is the index of say Shirdi? What is the index of Shirdi? So we can put it. So definitely it should be the output should be 0. So index of Shirdi is what? It is a 0. Are you getting my point? Next, few more useful techniques are there. Suppose we have a list, say here few values are there, and we can sort in ascending order as well as descending order. So if you write like this way, list name and dot sort, it will print in ascending order. And if you write like this way, my list dot sort and reverse is equal to 2, if you put reverse is equal to 2, and if you print it, we can get the data list in descending order. So if you need ascending order, we have to mention like only dot sort. But if you need in descending order inside the sort, we have to define reverse is equal to true. So it will print the list in reverse order. Next, insert a data as a last element in the list. So we can see the difference between insert and append. Already we have discussed about the insert. Now we can see 3 examples are for append and these 2 are for the insert. So one, we have defined one list, that is the my list. Now here we can see better to see the output also for proper explanation and clear it. So first time it's an empty list, my list dot append Tirupati. So and if you print it, print my list, the output is what? Tirupati. After that we appended Puri, so insert it as the last node. You can see here Puri. After that Mantralayam, so we have inserted as a last node. So if you write dot append, that means what? We can insert any particular element as a last node. We can use the insert also. So here we have to mention the index also. So insert 1. So insert as a first. So you can see here Tirupati and Puri. Instead of Puri, now it is Srisalem, and Puri is shifted to the right. 7 means what? Insert as a last. So definitely we have seen. So we can see here Vijayanagaram is what? It is inserted as a last node. Are you getting my point? So this is what, in this way you can append we may use append, or suppose to insert as a last node, we may use append, or we may mention like this way to to insert a data as a last node. Now, suppose we want to merge two lists. So how to merge these two lists? So we have a list one, squash, weightlifting and gymnastic. Another list is there, athletics, table tennis and basketball. So if you want to merge these two lists, so how to do this one? So list one dot extend list two. So we have to merge these two lists into the list one, and if you print the list one, we can get the merged list. Okay, suppose inside list 2 you want to merge list 1, so here in that case you have to write list 2 dot extend list 1. Okay, next list name dot remove a data. Suppose you want to remove particular data. Suppose there is a list. Okay, there is a list, and list is for soccer, tennis and golf. Suppose we want to remove golf. So what will happen? Is it possible to remove? Can you remove it? So we can explain it. Now after that you can see here, after that now golf is not there. After that golf is not there. So to delete a particular element, we have to mention that particular element. So list is, this one is the list. If you write list dot remove, then name of the element, if you mention name of the element, now we can easily delete it. Now what happened if that particular element is not there? Suppose here we have mentioned cricket, 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 and if we execute it, we can get error. X is not in a list. So definitely before deleting it, we have to check whether that particular element is there or not. Otherwise, we can get the error message. So to handle this particular situation, definitely we have to use in and not in. So we can see here, we have a list. Here the content of the list is what? Soccer, tennis and golf. So list before deletion, if you print it, so the output is what? This is what our output, soccer, tennis. Now suppose we want to enter, you just enter your element to delete it, and you just check first whether it is in the list or not. If it is in the then delete it, otherwise print else element is not present in the list. Are you getting my point? And after deletion we can print the list also. So we can just first of all you just see the example. So execute it. Now suppose we want to delete golf. Okay, now we can see here X is what? X is golf. Okay, X is what? It is a golf. So X in golf in list, yeah, golf is there. So the if condition is true, it will remove from the list and it will print the list. Are you getting my point? Now suppose here we mention the cricket, CRICKET, and if we execute it, we can get the output element is not present in the list. So you can see here the X is what? Cricket in list. Now it is a false. So definitely it will execute the else part. The output will be what? Element is not present in the list. Okay. Next, delete from the last and return a value. Suppose we want to delete element from the last. So how to delete it? So we can see here, we can see the output. So here we have a list, and here in my list 3 elements are there: Bahubali 2, KGF chapter 2 and RRR. So here you can, first of all you can display the content of the list. So this is what our list. Now if you mention mylist.pop, that means it will delete the RRR, and you can see, and after that if you execute it, you can see here RRR is not there. If you once again mention mylist.pop, it will the next, that is KGF chapter 2, and after that if you display the content of the list is what? Bahubali 2. If you once again display the mylist.pop, it will delete the remaining one, Bahubali 2, and once again if you display it, you can get the empty list. Okay, so what happened if you once again pop that particular one? So after 3, see here 3 elements are there and you have used 3 pop. What if you use fourth pop? So fourth pop, if we mention the fourth pop, that it will give the error, index error, pop from empty list. Okay, so it will give one error, index error, that is, we can mention here that pop from empty lists. So definitely before pop, we have to check whether element is there or not. So can you tell us how to do this one, how to handle this situation? So in a comment section, you just mention the example number. Okay. And here you tell your solutions, how to do this one, how to solve this particular problem. Okay. Now suppose we want to delete a list or you want to delete a particular element from a list. So if you write like this way, so my list Bahubali 2.0 and Puspa. So the list content is what? This one Bahubali 2.0 and Puspa. And if you write like del my list 2, that means we want to delete the sorry, it is 2 means what index? So 0, 1, 2. So it will delete Puspa. So if you print 1 second, you can see Puspa is not there. And if you want to delete the entire list, so here you have to write del my list. Okay. So after that it will print list is deleted. So once you have deleted and once you want to execute this particular if you want to display the content of the list, definitely we will receive an error message. So it is a name error, that is my list is not defined, because already we have deleted the list, and after that we want to display the content of the list. So how it is possible? So definitely it is not possible. Are you getting? Next, aliasing and cloning. So aliasing is nothing but the renaming. Okay. Suppose we have a list 1. So here the content is C.V. Raman, Homi J. Bhabha, Viswesvaraya and Venkataraman, all Indian great scientists. So here this is what all the elements are there, and here we mention list 1. So if you write like this, a list 2 is equal to list 1, that means list 2 is also indicating the same data set. Okay. And if you print the ID of the list, both list 1 and list 2, we can see the IDs are same, both are same. That means both list 1 and list 2, they are mentioning the same data set. Here you can see the content is same. Now, suppose we have append something inside the list 1. Suppose here you append the Abdul Kalam. Okay. So we can see here it is reflected to list 2 also. So here we have changed only the list 1. We have changed in list 1. And if you display the list 1, you can see Abdul Kalam ji is there. And if you print the list 2, it is also reflected in list 2 also. That means what? In renaming, in aliasing, both the names are indicating the same data sets. So if you change once in one particular data set, it will change in, if you change in list 1, it will also change in list 2 also. But cloning is different. We can see cloning is what? It is indicating the two different data sets. Suppose here we can see here. Suppose here list 1 is there. Okay. And it is mentioning some data. So in this particular data, few elements are there. And if you write like this, a list 2 is equal to list 1 dot copy. That means what? It will create another list with the different set of data with same content. Okay, so contents are same. Okay, and if you display it, you can see here, if you display list 1 and list 2, both the content are same. But if you display the IDs, you can see IDs are different. That means they are mentioning two different set of data with same content. Suppose we want to change Abdul Kalam. Suppose here you have to append in last third as a third in list 1. So you want to change the third one. So 0, 1 to third one. We want to change this one. We want to change the third one. So, and if you display the list 1, you can see in the third Abdul Kalam ji is there, but in list 2, old Venkataraman ji is also there. Okay. A few things are there, simple things are there. Suppose one list is there. We want to print the maximum value. So you have to write maximum and name of the list. It will return the maximum value. And to get the minimum value, we can mention minimum, and the from the list we can get the minimum value, that is 7. So max list name, it will return the maximum value. Min list name, it will return the minimum value from the list. Okay. Now we can use mathematical operator plus and multiplication. Plus we use to merge two lists. Suppose we have a list 1, content of the list is Prabhas, Vikram and Mahesh Babu. In list 2, the content is Rasmika, Tamanna and Anushka. Suppose we have written list is equal to list 1 plus list 2. So it will merge both the list and it will create another list, that is a list. So if you print it, we can get the output this one. So better to give some different name, say list 3, okay, and we can execute it, we can get the answer. Okay, and here we can say 3 and here it is 3, or it will be better to write 4. Here it is also 4. So we can use with this way also. Suppose we have mentioned list 1 with Trisha. Okay, so if you execute it, you can say Trisha is there. So what happened if you don't put the brackets? What happened if you don't put the brackets? And if you execute it, is it okay? No, it is not okay. It will give the type error. Can only concatenate list, not string to list. So because Trisha, it is nothing but what? It is nothing but a string. Okay, so it is a string. It is a string. Trisha is a string, not a list. But if you mention like this way, so now it is okay. Now we can one list is concatenate with another list. It is not concatenate with the another string in the another data type. So definitely this is not the correct one. This one is not the correct one. This is the correct one. Are you getting? So in this way, we using plus we can merge two lists. Okay, and if you execute it, we can get the answer. Similarly, if you write, if you want to repeat the content in a 2 times, if you want to print the content of this particular list 2 times, you have to write list 1 into 2. So here you mention list 3, here you can mention list 3, and if you execute it, you can see Rasmika and Tamanna Rasmika 2 times. So if you write like 20 times, if you execute it, we can get the 20 times. Rasmika and Tamanna 20 times. Okay. Next, list comparisons: equal to, not equal to, greater than equal to, less than equal to. So we can compare list using these operators. So we have a five list. We can see one by one. So here list 1 to list 5. You can check. You can compare list 1 to list. Are list 1 and list 2 both are same? List 1 to list 2 both are same? Definitely answer is false. List 1 to list 3, are they same? Red, green, blue, blue. Are they same? Answer is true. List 1 is not equal to list 3. Definitely it should be false because both are same. List 1 is equal to list 4. We can see here. What is the list 1 and what is the list 4? We can take another color. List 1 and list 4. So list 1 and list 4. Red, green, blue, red, green. So list 1 and is equal to list 4. Definitely output should be what? False. Now we can check list 1 and list 5. So red, green, blue is there. Here green, blue, red is there. So the sequence is different but the content is same. Okay. Are they same? We can see the output. It is a false. So it will check content as well as sequence. It should be, the sequence should be also the same. Okay. Next, compare only the first element. That means what? Suppose we can give another example. Suppose we have a 3 list, list 1, list 2, list 3. Can you say list 1 is greater than list 2? List 1 is greater than list 2? Definitely it is a false. Can you say list 1 is greater than list 2? Greater than equal to? Greater than equal to. Now equal to is there. Definitely you can, it's a true. Now if you see list 1 and list 3. Can you say list 1 is greater than list 3? List 1 is greater than list 3. So if you compare 3 and 5, so 3 is less than 5. So definitely for third one, it should be false. Can you say list 1 is greater than equal to list 3? No, it is also false. Can you say list 2 is greater than list 3? List 2 is greater than list 3? No, it is false. Can you say list 2 is greater than equal to list 3? It is also false. Now if you change it, suppose if you change it like this way, say less than. List 2 is less than list 2 is less than list 3. List 2 is less than list 3. So list 2 is less than list 3 is what? List 2 is what? 3, and it is what? 5. Now you can say it is, if you execute it, it should be the true. Okay, now list 2, you can see here, it should be the true. So please ignore this one for the timing. So list 2 is less than CS. If it will check 3 and 5. So 3 is less than 5, so it is true. It will not check further. Here you can see 5 is greater than 3. 7, both are 7. Both are same. It will not check further. So it will compare element by element. So if both the elements are same, suppose here in this case, suppose both the elements are same. Both the elements are 3. So what will be the output? Can you say what will be the output? In this case, output should be the false. Why? So it will check first element, both are same, no problem. Then second element. So list 2 is greater than list 3. List 2 is greater than. So it should be, in this case, it should be false. It will not check further. Are you getting my points? Now, next, membership, already we have done it so many times. So in and not in. If the element is present in this particular list, it will print, it will execute yes, otherwise it will print it is not there. So we can check it. So here we can use it. Suppose here we want to check whether 5 is there or not. Yeah, element is there. So 5, it will check whether 5 is there or not. 5 in list, it is true, it will execute this part. Suppose here we mention whether 10 is there or not, or 20 is there or not. 20 is there or not, enter it. The element is not there. We can see the output. 20 is in the list, it is not true, it will execute the else part. That's why the element is not present. It will print the element is not present. Finally, clear all the elements. Suppose we have a list, the content is 365 days, cats, guardians, Jack and Jill. And if you display the content of the list, so we can display it. The output is what? This is the output. And if you write mylist.clear, it will flash out, it will remove all the elements from the list, and if you display the list, it will print the empty list. Okay, so here you can execute it and you can get the output. Okay, so that is the end of this particular video. Thank you very much.